Hi there, this is another one of my ad hoc videos in which I try and describe events on the fly. And that is the mounting operation for Overlord. So we're dealing with how the troops, before they crossed the channel and started fighting. As you could see from that first title document, it's from the United States National Archives. It's a restricted document produced or written because of this order here, to prepare a factual analysis of the strategy, tactics and administration employed by the United States forces. Is something that's not well known, isn't studied today. It's not very exciting. We're looking at how they were mounted, how they got to aboard their ships. And really what I'm trying to do is big up the importance of the document. At the Casablanca conference in January 43, the Combined Chiefs of Staff directed planning agency known as the Chief of Staff Supreme Allied Commander, COSAC. He prepared a preliminary plan which was approved by the Combined Chiefs of Staff in Quebec in August 1943. This plan, called Overlord, was the basis for all further detailed plans for the Overlord operations. So I quoted that for you because there are a lot of discussions about where and when Overlord first started, and this is really the most authoritative account you can get. And if we go down to section 3, mounting the Overlord operation required the preparation and movement of a large number of troops from the United Kingdom and the United States to the continent of Europe, together with their necessary equipment and preparation for the logistical support of those troops. This mass movement of men and supplies must be accomplished in such a manner as to meet the requirements of the field force commander, subject to, as such, changes to the tactical situation might require from time to time. Plans and procedures must be developed that would use to the maximum the limited facilities of the United Kingdom allocated to the United States forces. So in this short page, we've got how the Overlord started and what the mission statement was. And as I say, this is the most authoritative account you'll be able to obtain. Section 7 is very interesting, usually overlooked in any of the reference works or academic works about D-Day. Is number 7 here. On the 10th of April 1944, it was directed that build-up control organisation be established to control the movement of troops from the United Kingdom to the continent. That became known as BUCO, and really it was going to control all the logistical aspects of D-Day, but for some reason it's completely vanished from the narrative of D-Day. Although, as I say, it played a pivotal role. The next section from the report is called the preparation of mounting plans. And it says, number 8, prior to September 43, the Director of Movement's British War Office had made some study of preparations necessary for the movement of large amphibious forces. In September 43, the British exercise Harlequin was conducted in accordance with the procedure prescribed in Standing Instructions for Movement Control Combined Operations Short Sea Voyage. Some officers and enlisted men of the United States Army participated in the exercise under command of British control officers. It goes on to say that the results of the Harlequin exercise were carefully studied by representatives of the British and American armies. The exercise proved that a distinctly different procedure should be employed for a short sea voyage from that employed for a long sea voyage. It was agreed that the movement of Allied troops should follow a uniform procedure. Number 10, the Service of Supply, that's SOS, European Theatre of Operations for the United States Army, plan for mounting troops for the Operation Overlord was prepared based on the procedure developed in the Harlequin exercise. And I've included this because it goes to show in some way that they didn't just throw this thing together. It was prepared in great detail. one thing is you're going to say to me is that this is all about the Americans. Well, in some sense it is, because we're talking about the Second Front, and the Second Front would not have taken place without the Americans having had to war being declared on the Americans and then forced to join the war. The whole Second Front was based on their intervention. But the point I want to stress to you, the thing that isn't mentioned in any of the narrative, is that, as Major General Sir Nigel Holmes said, without Southampton we could not have done D-Day. And really, these bits and pieces I'm putting before you now are only relevant because of Southampton. If Southampton wasn't in existence, if Southampton didn't participate, the whole thing would not have worked. This whole operation was based around Southampton. It was in a unique position, and its role in the D-Day and Operation Overlord is overlooked for one reason or another. But the whole thing, although you may think I'm talking about the American forces and I'm bigging up the American forces, without Southampton we could not have done D-Day.